Hello and welcome to the Gyaan project. I'm proud to be partnering with the Drawing Board for the fourth year in a row, a platform that continues to challenge and inspire architecture students across the globe. This year marks the 10th edition of the competition, hosted by Rohan Builders and Mindspace Architects. Since its inception, the Drawing Board has welcomed participants over 75 plus countries. The 2025 challenge is set on a stunning Sadahalli Quarry near Bengaluru. Students are invited to design a museum of geology within the deep granite site. It's a brief that urges thoughtful, contextual design. The competition is free, open to students globally, and features an international jury. The last date to submit is 6 September 2025. More details at thedrawingboard.in. Today, we have with us B L Manjunath, a veteran structural expert and educator who helped bring some of India's most ambitious architectural visions to life. This is going to be a very philosophical conversation beyond architecture. So details of his journey and the competition are in the show notes. Let's get started. Welcome Manjunath to the Gyaan project and thanks for giving your time. It's a pleasure to speak to you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, with Rajiv Katapalya in the previous episode, we spoke about slow stewardship, organic, net zero.
Right.
All the conversation was around the drawing boards, this year's theme with Sadahalli Quarry. And I'm thinking of kind of extending the same concept, talk about four things: observation, intensity, dealing with silos, and the unseen. And of course, everything in a philosophical context. I wanted to start by asking, according to you, what is the difference between seeing and observing?
Yeah, I think to me, I think this seeing is probably, it's like it just provokes, you see something to be able to, picturize in two dimension, right? Okay. And then there is, I think with curiosity, I think seeing doesn't remain as two dimension. I think that's why this hunger and curiosity has to be, which is an outcome of a childhood, If you protect your childhood, I think these two elements of curiosity and hunger, is always with you. It's part of you, So when you see something, probably you don't see actually what you see. Okay. So it starts mimicking and it starts talking. It's also joking, It's like it creates a lot of images of, a lot of things to laugh and talk, It's like, it suddenly becomes full of life, It starts conversing, things which remained as two dimensions with your eye probably becomes a lifeless becomes lifeful, Then you start interacting, then you converse, debate, observe, touch, feel, go beyond, dissect it. When you dissect through observation, the image is not the same image what you saw. That's the beauty. You understood, no? I think it changes the whole two dimension into a depth of three dimension and curiosity. That's what I've been seeing, like when I look at a building or when I look at something, there are some buildings which are like, whoa, wow, because it doesn't have depth only, it can't remain forever, There are some buildings which are a bit not organized, then I think I can see an order in this disorder, That's the beauty. Observation is basically to find an order in disorder, okay, in a beauty in ugly. There are a lot of things, it's like seeing discipline in indiscipline, that is what observation to me, Yeah.
Beautiful. Is it safe to say that, because this is my interpretation, that seeing is more sensorial, it's very superficial because you just get to see what your eyes can comprehend, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But observing, there's as you mentioned, there's a one level deeper, so which it touches your soul and like gets into more nuances with your intellect and your memory and everything coming together. Is that
Yeah, I
kind of
think
a good?
to an extent is like, when you start seeing, probably you see as an object, so you exist, right? Okay, you exist to see something. Okay, then you slowly don't exist. Then the unseen becomes seen. That's the beauty. That is what is observation. You become so invisible as a physicality of yourself. Then you start melting into things what you are dreaming. By looking at
Wow.
that. That is what is. Just I think there is a shift. There is a shift between you which don't exist. Through
Hmm.
seeing, you become part of the unseen, through inquiry, through questions, through experiencing it. You start experiencing it, everything. I think the beauty of experience, anything which you see comes with a character of childhood. That is what we have been doing. No,
Hmm.
childhood, what, before education, we used to see, to touch it, to feel it, to taste it, huh? To play with it,
Hmm.
huh? Without knowing what it is, basically, you're learning.
Correct,
Right,
correct,
right,
correct.
right. Yeah. So that quality, I think, to me, helps me to observe it better.
So when you mentioned childhood, actually my follow-up question was around that. Then how can we observe without bringing your own biases? Because you will be conditioned, and as they say, right, you don't see what you see, but you see what you want to see.
Right.
So in case of observation, then how can you not bring your biases and still kind of appreciate as a matter of fact and how things are?
Yeah, see, I think to a great extent, unfold what you see, basically. You always make a mistake. There's no fear of making a mistake. I think that is what you always reimagine, to find the truth, right? To find the truth. When you look at, there are biases. I think there are biases. There are some cases where you have seen something which is very similar, okay? But you are not satisfied with that. There are something which doesn't matches with what you have not seen. Okay, then you still curious. I think this is totally continuous. It all depends upon each person,
Hmm.
and that attachment, no, the attachment to be in sync, seamless, is leads to experience. I think that is the most important part of it, because there's nothing to
Hmm.
prove. What you experience actually sensitizes every elements of your body. The fingers move, the hand move, the tongue. If you're imagining that to be eatable, you know there is saliva, there is, every part of it is,
It,
yeah, every part of it becomes part of your observation. So you suddenly, the physicality melts, no, into that. That's how you don't exist, you don't exist.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
In fact, when we were talking yesterday, I remembered a very old experiment, like the Mary Rose experiment. I don't know the name of it, but it somewhat goes like this: that suppose there's a person who was like from birth was kept in a very black and white setup. She was kind of exposed to all the knowledge about red color,
Right,
but was never shown a red color. She was living in a monochromatic world,
right,
and like a hypothetical
right,
situation
right.
where it's underground somewhere. And one day when she steps out and sees a rose,
Right.
has she gotten a new experience? Because she was like a master of red.
Yeah, yeah.
She knew exactly the CMYK and all compositions and what kind of red means,
Right.
how psychological it affects.
Yeah.
But when she sees a red, so can you elaborate on that? What does experience mean to you also, right? Like
Yes.
how does it unfold?
See, I think we also like, say, for example, like, say, to me the experience is like this, no, in the sense that the experience also is somehow, you start matching what you have made, okay, through your senses. Okay, you have made yourself some feeling in you, some feeling in you. Okay, and then how does that you start without any effort matches to what you see. There are cases like, if I'm just imagining the experience, then I can relate to the visual part. Or if I'm seeing something which is visual, that can transform into my experience.
Hmm.
You got it. So this beautiful idea transformation. If I'm working on something, if I have a feel of that experience, I get immense layers of ideas, okay, which has that experience. You
Hmm.
understood?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then there is a very comforting factor for me. This will work, of course. This will work.
Hmm.
This will work, and then you start looking at it and detailing it. Then, how did I get this idea? How did I get this
Hmm.
idea? I think the important part is how genuine you have observed it to carry that, that distilled, experience. I think, how do you distill it? No, what you observe, how do you
Yeah.
distill it? That is the essence, which doesn't have any bites. It doesn't have any bites. No,
Hmm.
it doesn't require any storage volume. You don't need to add,
Hmm.
some more bytes for your mind. It's effortless.
Hmm.
You got it what I'm saying? You
Correct.
got it what
Correct.
I'm saying? You
Yeah.
don't need to have
No, no,
extra,
I'm getting.
you don't need the extra batteries, nothing. It doesn't have, it's just experience. Experience actually is required to sensitize my element of my body,
Hmm. Hmm.
you know?
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm getting what you're saying because I've been a little spiritually inclined for many years now, and one of the ways is Jnana Yoga, which is where the Gyan project also comes from. And there is no ritual, there is no particular practice that kind of, so in say Karma Yoga you do,
Yeah,
and then you get some action, there's some action, right?
yeah,
Even in Raj Yoga there's some action, you sit down and you meditate.
right.
In Gyan, you basically, what you're saying is you're just meditating on it mentally and absorbing and thinking. So there's no physical activity as such. So
No, no, this is.
any way or any.
No, I think the mind, if it can be stretchable, into a development space, it occupies the universe. It's a playground of universe. Can you imagine? Such a concentrated dot on your neck is expandable to the area of the universe. Can you imagine?
Hmm,
You don't need one
yeah,
life. You don't need. You don't require one lifetime. To go
hmm,
0.1% of the area. You understood the power. So, I don't know the
correct,
power. I'm just playing right now. I'm just
correct.
playing. My easiest way effortlessly to conquer myself, is to understand the language of this earth. That is
Hmm,
what I believe in, how far I can understand this whole two forces which basically dictates the way we are, the life what we have is dictated by two forces. To me, is one is gravity, one is the suction of the space. I think two
hmm,
opposite forces which basically pulling life on this earth. Okay, the restraint to avoid this pulling, is life, and that is a spiral.
hmm,
That is a spiral. The spiral is the restraint being pulled into failure. Okay,
hmm.
that restraint is formed as a helicoid, which is existing in every part of life on this earth.
Interesting,
Huh?
interesting. Yeah, I never thought it from that
No, no,
lens. It's quite
I'm
fascinating.
this is a helicoid, everything. I'm
Hmm,
just seeing the extent of restraint, I think, is life. You understood?
hmm, hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like pre-stressing life, to have this experience. No, I think,
Hmm,
I think you don't need to have any articulation of words, too much
hmm,
of bombastic words, to experience. There's no language, as what I said yesterday. There's no language. My aim is to, reach the most simple human on this earth. You got it. That's why I'm just
hmm,
distilling and then bringing it into a very simple visual way of understanding.
hmm,
So you want to go, you got it. What I'm saying is, so, when somebody is talking, you can actually imagine what I'm saying physically. So you look at how the tree is grow, how any plant is growing. You look at the cross section, when you decify a coconut tree, you can see that every element, okay, of life on this earth, is brought out of restraint. So this is, I think, this is the human quality.
So, I'm like from this philosophical note, I wanted to bring down to Sadahalli Quarry also because that's the theme of the competition.
Yeah.
Any two or three things you observe, like from whatever the brief you have, or did you get a chance to look at
I saw
the?
it was a very amazing, I think when I look at this Sadarli, stone, what I found is more than the stone what is existing, where did the remaining went,
Hmm,
I'm starting imagining the earlier physicality of the stone which existed and how
hmm,
the stone has gone into different same density in different forms, as a cover to ground, as to the building, or it is to the foundation. It has gone differently, right? It has been cut
hmm,
and then used somewhere. It has gone to US. It has gone all over the world, right? But how each person has used this material through its understanding, and then has anybody thought that, okay, the stone which is gone, what has happened to the source? The guy who has,
hmm,
the person, the this part of the earth which has let this stone to go spread all over the world. Okay, what is the state of it? Like for me, when I look at it, why are you left alone?
hmm,
Why
hmm,
are you there alone? What has
hmm,
happened to your whole, you know brothers, sisters, whatever, whole family is taken away. You just look at that. Okay, just look at that. And then in this, the unseen is out, there is seen,
hmm,
but there is something which is unseen below also, which they can't take it, right? It is some below the ground, correct? No, what you see is not, is called as a mountain. What is beneath, nobody knows, right?
hmm,
Okay, so how do you see this in a larger perspective than looking at the monolith as a shape? So this is an outcrop from
hmm,
the earth, is probably a wound of the earth. Is, when you look at the whole earth, this is just a pimple on the earth, just come out.
hmm,
Is there a cure for this? How do I look at it? How did it allow other densities like air, plants, animals, soil, which are part of it, to protect it? So how do you want to protect it now? So what type of density you want to attach to this, core? You want to use its density and then build a mesh or a fabric or some sort of a cloud around it so that people can enjoy the elevation of it, or people want to live it. You understood, live in that space, because one is, you can look at the physicality of this, that I am alive. You want to hug me, come and hug me. You take the warmth of the core, which is the source, which is now exposed for you. So how sensitive you can be around me? You want to do light structures. You want to do. It can be like it can be woven with fibers. I don't know. I don't know. How do I
hmm,
sensitize myself to create something which is also, giving back or
hmm,
protecting, is something which I am looking at. I don't want to bring back the same monolith.
hmm,
Monolith is an outcome of an eruption somewhere inside. It came out. Correct? No, it came
hmm,
out. It came out. It couldn't stand. It came out. It came out in
hmm.
huge force. No, with fury. The whole thing
Yeah,
melted and came out as a projection to see the sky or to see the sun. I want to see the sun, correct? No? So, but
beautiful.
I think there is one way as a story which we can do as humans, is to bring out a humanized story. That's the best we can do through our experience. You can humanize everything through a story. What is wrong
Hmm.
in it? Correct. Ramayana is a story. Every religion is a story. We are good at stories.
Yeah,
Correct, na?
absolutely,
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely. So actually, sorry to interrupt, but I first of all, I love the whole parallel of humanizing even the soil and everything. I think is a function of being sensitive, right?
Right.
So my next keyword was actually about intensity. Like if you're sensitive, then how can you bring in this kind of intensity in your work also? I mean,
Yeah, I tell you very simple. I think intensity comes with rigor. Rigor comes with honesty and truth. You need to be truthful, you need to be honest. Having sensitized yourself through honesty, rigor is an outcome. Rigor leads to
hmm,
intensity. Okay, if you develop, okay, through fear, our education brings out only fear, that gives anxiety. That gives anxiety. Anxiety and intensity are two layers, okay? And anxiety doesn't create. It duplicates,
Correct.
and then do bad duplication, okay?
Hmm.
Huh? Okay, intensity creates.
Hmm.
Intensity is a tool which doesn't carry any stress or strain, and then you start creating.
Yeah, and no, but in your article you mentioned because of intensity, the path of creation makes the process seamless. So can you elaborate on that?
No,
Yeah.
see, I think it's an look at things like honesty, truth, love, affection. All these are you can't see it now. You need to develop it,
Hmm.
right? You need to develop it through teachers, through parents, through nature. There are a lot of things which each one goes through. I think mostly you refine these qualities through suffering. There's a
Hmm.
there's a there's a great amount of suffering what we go through. Suffering is not a pain.
Hmm.
Suffering is not a
Hmm.
pain. Okay, suffering is a very divine way of you readjusting every moment. Okay, or you evolving every moment, and when this seamless process which is happening in you, so you start in the process of creating, you are being so selfless, so you're moving at a speed, okay, where there's no day and night.
Hmm.
There is no breakfast lunch and dinner. There is no there is no family. It is all you. Okay, it's all you start doing it. Okay, only being very selfish to see. You are the most selfish guy on this earth, able to see what you are dreaming. And finally you don't appreciate the final product because you don't accept it.
It's
You don't accept it.
correct.
You understood? You
Correct.
don't accept
Beautiful.
it. You don't accept. This non acceptance at every level can be only through suffering. Every element what you edge upon to say that this is not what I'm looking at are all creations. Okay, every element is a creation, but that creation for you is not creation. You understood?
Absolutely, sir. In fact, in Vedanta, there is a concept called as neti neti, and it's exactly what you're saying because it's literally translates into not this, not this. So as you unpeel the layers,
Yeah,
you see something, but you are still not convinced that this is not what I'm trying to see or what I am hoping to see.
yeah, yeah,
And then you unpeel and you keep doing that till you reach, and now that goes into some other realm. But yeah, it's and every act of unlayering causes pain,
yes.
causes suffering, not in the negative sense, but it just drives you, propels you further to discover more.
Yeah, see, I,
Beautiful,
I, I see,
beautiful.
I see this in the dream. Okay, get up at 2 or 2:30, sketch it out, and then
Hmm.
then I say that I found it. I found it. Then go back and sleep in the morning. When I put it
Hmm.
on the drawing, okay, it is not convincible. No, this is not okay.
Hmm.
This is not okay. There is lot of flaw. This junction doesn't work. This is bad. This is bad. So go back once again, doing something, and then come back.
Hmm.
So it's a continuous process. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. Now that you have spoken about intensity, it gives a different way to look at it. But my understanding earlier was that with intensity, you bring a lot of focus. You narrow down on something, very, very targeted effort of achieving something or trying to do something, right?
yeah,
How would somebody do this in knowing the entire story also? Because it will take lifetimes to understand, right? You need to expand and diverge and look at it holistically,
right.
and then come down and narrow down it very, very sharply to what you want to achieve. So how do these two dimensions would work simultaneously for any practicing professional, be it architecture, be it any creative field?
I think we should not get confused with discipline. Intensity should not be confused. It should not be confused with discipline. So
Hmm.
this intensity is an internal discipline wherein the seamlessness of the process what you have created, is the path to achieve it. Is the path to achieve it. There is no doubt about it. You are very very confident that you are going to achieve it
Hmm.
because why I'm saying is you have already visualized it. Every product, everything what you are doing is all half finished. Okay. I make a sketch which is half finished because I don't I don't want to do a full sketch because I have already put it on my mind. So I see that. So I make a model which is half finished. All the things which I do are all stopped because the final product is seen in the mind. In a
Hmm.
discipline, you make everything till you finish it. So there is no discipline here. Here, when you look at the whole process, nobody can copy. Okay,
Hmm.
everything is hatch patch. Like you see the model which is broken because I know how to make it. So it is already made in the mind. My sketch, nobody can copy it because it's all half finished. It's done. Then you. So for me, you can't have a very good looking model. You can't have
Hmm.
a very good looking sketch. The process of my growth through intensity is always abrupt as images or products, but the mind is seamless. The mind is seamless. Nobody can copy me. There's no fear.
Hmm.
So there's no fear only, no.
Hmm.
Nobody can take anything. Nobody can. I've been protected every minute. You got it. When I see this half
Yeah.
model, I can imagine because I would have experienced this whole. Seeing it in 100% through laughing, crying, enjoying, making jokes and telling stories.
Hmm.
There is a narration already, and then taking some analogy from somewhere, relating to it and making a story out of it. All these things, playful, that playing like a kid is still existing.
So I think what you're saying needs definitely a deep thought. I'm getting what you're saying, but it needs a lot of contemplation to mull over it, to think about it, where and how this can be, say, applied or yeah.
For example, I'll tell you in the office, I give the same product for four people,
Hmm.
okay, to do the model, okay. So kids are doing in the 3D printing, somebody is doing manually everything. Okay. What I'm learning in this whole model, okay, is something which I have already built in the mind. I tell them, sir, do you want me to finish? No, no, leave it like this. Okay. You have done a good job. Oh, no, no, you are also done a good job. You don't want to finish it? No, no, I don't want to finish it. It's fine. Sir, this is breaking. It's not working. Do you want me to increase the size? No, 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 no. I think I wanted to fail. You understood. I wanted
Hmm.
that to fail. Because for me, process at which people make also helps me to imagine better and create
Hmm.
the image in my mind better. I don't know. I see I just somehow hate this highly finished, highly so-called beautiful, something which is very organized, it doesn't give me any, I think you're actually killing, every idea is being killed by creating beauty. Beauty is in the fragility, that's what I was telling, this analogy is like, if I can extend it slightly to you, okay, like that flower from the bud to flower, the how bud is so protected and secured, with lot of fear, but the moment the flower just loses the fear and then stretches, stays and become a flower. Correct, na? It's like, even if you touch the flower, you can't hold the flower in your hand. You have to hold it at the right point. And then this flower is so beautiful that it's not afraid that it's going to die tomorrow, no? It's in the dustbin tomorrow, right? Today is a flower, right? Tomorrow it's in the
Yeah,
dustbin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's dust, yeah. So that fragility to express the beauty without thinking that it's
Hmm.
going to die tomorrow, I think is the beauty to me. Is that beauty? The beauty lies when there is no fear. Okay.
So how would this translate to any work? Because if a person is to be like, there are commercial obligations. So I understand that this part will be always make you more sensitive, but the way things are right now in the society, this might sound like very theoretical, right? There will be some practical aspects to it. How do you carry forward these philosophies on a
No, see, I think what we have been taught through education is to fight nature. What we are
hmm,
taught finally is to fight nature, okay, as a phenomenon that everything what we create has to live forever. Right now,
Hmm.
it's for labor, and the person who is there doesn't mean that he's not bothered that tomorrow he's there once he goes to the road. He's not bothered, because he thinks that he's there for 100 years, and then everything what we
Hmm.
create has to be there for 400, 500 years. Because this whole process probably was more of our understanding that you build heaviness because gravity is there to support it. So density was dictated, gravity was dictated by density. So there's a lot of things which were, but why we are not looking at, when we are also so fragile and then being so stretched out, even though we are on the earth, we are somewhere always traversing in the air, correct? Either looking at something in US, somewhere in this space. This whole phenomena of stretching beyond this gravity through lightness is already there. Why do we think that we are so much being pulled for so many years on existence on this earth? That's what I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that. And
Hmm.
then why do we create buildings of that order which are so heavy? So we have gone to a stage where we create densities where we design for its density rather than the human load. Because finally you have to build it for the human load, right? Or for the car or whatever it is. You look at these metros today, you look at these buildings today, we are designing for its own self fate. Is there a way that we can look at this material called concrete as a different material, which are light, which are strong? What I'm saying is we have gone to a stage where we are attracted by a material which was of the past, even though our thinking has gone into the future, and then there is no connection now.
Nothing.
There's no connection. No, I think to me, we have to reinvent, relook at things the way we live today. Yeah? Because suddenly we have become so independent as humans. No, every human has become very independent now. Because most of
Hmm.
the time the body is in the family, but the mind is independent, wandering, right?
Correct.
Yeah, the body carries two densities now. It is no way one
Hmm.
density right now. Yeah, so the volume is spread out with a low density of energy, and suddenly the monolith of the body is more physical on the ground.
Hmm.
So I think that's what is the new thinking is, how do you marry these densities? Very important. Actually,
Hmm.
when I look at the monolith of the residue of rock, what is existing, how one starts marrying this rock with other densities.
Hmm.
You can't go and then put an RCC beam, steel bracket, and then put masonry wall. You can't build it like that now anymore. So what is the other way? I think that is what, some sort of a, you have to go slightly out of your scale and then go beyond. That's why it's not philosophical, but it is like slightly see this whole world in perspective,
Hmm.
to come
Hmm.
back into reality and then see, rather than looking at this
Hmm.
object and then housing as in isolation. That is the,
Hmm.
that is, I think that is what one needs to look at right now. I think we are just going out. I think in this whole discussion is we are just going out, into
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
into the periphery of space, without boundary, without fear, and then playing, and then come back. You can come back. You can come back and see this in that perspective. That is what the whole discussion what we are doing right now.
Correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct. No, beautiful. Because going this wide without any fear
yeah.
and exploring what potential outcomes could happen, or what are the possibilities also, right? And then but yeah, then when you stretch endlessly without fear,
Right.
do you find any common thread
Yeah, there is a common thread.
to come back?
Yeah, there is a common thread. Of
Hmm.
course, there is. I think the thread is still there. The
Hmm.
seamlessness of the thought is nothing but the thread. The thread has to be anchored to this earth, into gravity. I am on the
Hmm.
thread. I
Hmm.
am not moved out of the thread. But the thread is spiral, that's all. You don't see it as a line.
Amazing,
The thread
amazing,
is a
amazing.
spiral. Thread is not just a thread pulled by two forces. The thread has taken a shape of spiral, which is refusing to be stressed. So that
Yeah.
I am at different parts of the spiral. But for others, people think that I am away from the thread. but I am on the thread, which is a spiral. At some point of time, I am on the other side. Sometimes I am in the same side.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite fascinating. And I was like, we also discuss about silos, right? So when this thread is kind of expanding,
Yeah.
do you see systematically education trying to make it linear and in fact cut it further, right? Like, because there are a lot of silos, and now we have almost lost the faculty of seeing this common thread.
Yeah.
And also, if any example where you strongly believe in this engineering and tech and architecture collaboration. So any example on that where
I think I
you have tried to break the silos?
Yeah, see, I think each one is competing, right now. Every faculty is competing to be independent. Every
Hmm.
faculty is competing to be independent, to remain independent. I think every you start with a faculty of interest, but you blur, and then there is no faculty later. So when you evolve and then start learning, I think there is a filigree, there is so much fragmentation that any person can interact with each other. Engineering, architecture, physics, mathematics, okay, chemistry, biochemistry, biophysics. So everything will be in the same platform. In terms of interface between architects and engineers, which is bit lagging all over the world,
Hmm.
because one is basically in the shadow of an architect, because mostly he's on the table, working on things to protect the interest of the architect, where the architect is very free, wants to explore. So I think architect also requires a bit of engineering for them to be in a particular frame of boundary, okay? Because and then the engineers also should learn to appreciate the architect's intent, and then slightly go out of their boundary, uh,
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
slightly think and enjoy, if these two has to overlap, otherwise
Hmm.
otherwise what is happening is, there's like they are in two silos separately,
Hmm.
and there is a fight, and the fight will be an outcome of a building, the fight is the building, so you can see that fight in the building,
Yeah,
so uh,
beautiful.
so when I see the building, I can laugh at. I know I can observe it and then imagine that to without knowing the people, I can see that there is a noise in the building. There's noise, because when there is a noise in the building, you are not moved. You don't melt, if there is no noise, if there is a silence, then you are moved. When you are moved, you may have tears in the eyes. Nothing wrong. I will go and then sit in the building, have a cup of coffee, relax with the space, enjoy the outside. The building is not about looking every part of the building. Building is about you enjoying the space and seeing the outside through the building. Right? No, every detail is done so that you don't see it, but you experience it. Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be very interesting edit for me also. So, sir, in the interest of time, I would like to conclude with one last question. You mentioned just now that you can see the noise, right? But
Yeah.
for somebody who hasn't built that faculty, they may experience it but may not articulate that there is noise, right?
Yeah.
And you stressed upon unseen in the first question also. So, can you speak a little bit about what does unseen mean to you? Is it a function of time? Is it a function of observation?
Unseen is how much you will remain as you and I. Okay. Is there a way that you, as a scene, to be part of this, whatever you want to create, do you really want to be seen? Your job is you to be unseen for you to see the unseen, na? For me, my job is always to visualize what is unseen for the others. So when I do that, automatically I don't exist. That is what is unseen to me. What is the point of creator to be seen, you tell me, when he has created something where the created product will talk about him? in full length. It will tell because you have embedded everything of yours, in the building.
When you say unseen, in case of say Sadahalli Quarry, you very beautifully and poetically said that it came out, like it wanted to see the sky, right? So these emotions, these words are kind of emerging from what somebody can't see. So that's how I'm looking at when
Yeah, I
you
think.
see, how can you discover the unseen, and then how do you kind of,
See,
what's
I think,
the
yeah,
attempt to?
the hunger to see the unseen, the hunger to see the unseen is basically left in your questioning through curiosity, to know, and your ability through your sensibility to experience seamlessly actually enriches, okay, the way you see the unseen. That itself will start looking at the unseen to be experientially seen. When you are doing that, you as a person doesn't exist. You doesn't
I
exist. You
yeah, I
doesn't really
completely.
you doesn't really exist because when somebody meets you, okay, he's easily approachable. He can meet you. He can meet you. He can talk to you and then discuss on something. The more and you'll be normal. But if something which makes you to go to that level of thought process, thinking, and the hunger, you suddenly drift into the unseen. You understood? I think that is sometimes. At sometimes you'll be like that. There are some people who are all the time like that. Being all the time is amazing. You understood? I think that
Yeah.
is what one wants it.
And can
Huh?
technology help, again, bringing down to a little practical aspect, can technology help in knowing or understanding the unseen?
Yeah, 100%. There are a lot of things which are right now useful in terms of like 3D modeling. Okay, today 3D modeling is a boom. Like you can do everything much faster. Computers are much faster. Even making the building in 3D is so. It also helps you to visualize it and then do it, reject it, do it, reject it. You do it and reject it, do it and reject it. I think you don't understand. No, you don't marry it to it. I think doing and reject it. This is very important word. Never marry anything which is man-made. Okay, just okay. Don't marry that. So you do it and reject it because it gives you a layer of understanding much faster. Okay, that is what is technology is helping you. One person who was taking time, 10 years, you can do it in just 1 year. Amazing, no? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think layers at layers you can climb is much faster. And then because you have the ability and the capability in the mind, that's what I was talking about. The stretch of the mind is as vast as the universe. Why can't technology help you to conquer this? To your advantage, to your requirement, to your hunger, to your inquiry. It's not a crime, correct? No, you need to use the technology. You have to upgrade. You can't be in the same, old past silo where no, I will do this way only. I will go on. No, you have to change, but you need to know when to use it. It is still a tool. You have to do it to reject it. What I'm saying is, you understood? You have to do it to reject it. Acceptance only through mind. Okay.
So, sir, just to conclude, any key takeaways for applicants who are going to apply for this competition?
Right.
What is your reading of the Sadahalli query, and what
I just
different aspects that we spoke
I
about?
think I think for me, I think let them let because this is something which they have to very freely think. Okay, it's not. I think there is nothing to prove a point here. Okay, there is history. It's already done, and then slightly look at what is the remaining part, and then what went out from the remaining part. Okay, that gives the clue. It has emotional clue. Okay, it has a clue which belongs to the whole earth, and then it also gives you the source, the contact of the source, and it also gives you possibilities what you couldn't have done when it was a hill. There's a possibility. There is immense possibility now. Immense possibility of exploring the space which once existed as a monolith, which can't be, which couldn't have been conquered. Can you imagine? Even the water, which is so powerful, can't even go inside. Today, you have got the possibility. Go wild. Go wild. Go wild. Grasp it. Enjoy it. And play.
Yep.
Just play. It's a ground where the mind can play with dance, everything, just enjoy it. The rigidity comes with the rock. The rock is pivotal, it is existing. Take the support of it, but you play. You understood, no? You play. Don't become rigid like a rock.
Beautiful.
Rock is there to support you, you play. If you become rigid like a rock, even the rock doesn't like it. Correct, huh?
Absolutely. I think that's a beautiful note to end this conversation. There is some really profound insights and thoughts that you have shared. I can't thank you enough. I had a great time chatting with you. So thanks a lot, Manjunath, for giving your time. It was great talking to you.
Thank you, boss. Bye. Thank you for your
Okay,
time. Thank you for
bye.
your time. Yeah, bye.
And that was Manjunath, reminding us that true observation isn't just about seeing, but about dissolving the self to experience the world more deeply. I hope today's conversation helped you to think beyond form towards silence, material memory, and the unseen. Your challenge is to design a museum of geology within the raw, exposed terrain of the Sadahalli Quarry, a place shaped as much by what's missing as by what remains. This is our 4th year partnering with the Drawing Board and Rohan Builders at the Gyaan project, and we have got more inspiring episodes coming your way to help you think, reflect, and design better. Subscribe to the Gyaan project and follow us on Instagram and YouTube for bite-sized takeaways and updates. See you in the next one.